The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
Hello and welcome to another edition of TVWAN News. I'm Rex Litter. In this edition, Morobe ready to develop oil palm. Southern region ignites national unity, and Tioli retains COC title. The Morobe Provincial Administration has signed a memorandum of agreement with the Oil Palm Industry Corporation, or OPIC, last Friday in lay to expand the oil palm industry to Morobe Province. The agreement was signed by General Secretary for OPIC, Capson Pupita, and Provincial Administrator for Morobe, Max Bruton, and witnessed by Governor Lutawenge and Minister for Oil Palm, Francis Maneke.
The signing of the Memorandum of Agreement between the Morobe Provincial Administration and the Oil Palm Industry Corporation, or OPIC, marks a significant step towards the expansion of the oil palm industry in Morobe Province. The agreement aims to outline the mutual understanding and collaboration between OPIC and the Morobe Provincial Government to facilitate the development of oil palm plantations and related infrastructure in the Makam Valley of Morobe Province. Minister for Oil Palm Francis Maneke, during his speech, thanked the Morobe Provincial Administration for coming on board to partner with OPIC to develop oil palm industry in the province.
I think it's a good idea to make sure that we have our landowners, our customary landowners especially, to be also growers and benefit from the industry. So that is why today we came. And it's a very important day for our country. The intervention program for our government, the miraculous of government, I'd like to thank the government for having to support the oil palm ministry, and also taking oil palm ministry separately from agriculture to drive the interest for our government in terms of the economy. And most importantly, I also want to thank the milling companies who are already on the ground. Here we have in Makam and also at Ramu, where the MBPL company is already there.
This strategic partnership is designed to promote agricultural development and boost local economies through the establishment of oil palm plantations. Maneke emphasized the importance of oil palm as a key agricultural commodity that could contribute significantly to the province's economic growth. He highlighted the potential for job creation, enhanced livelihoods for local farmers, and increased revenue for the provincial government as primary objectives of this initiative.
We signed already with Medan to make sure that we extend our oil palm to Medan. Now that we're signing again for Morobe, and we know again, basically because of the nature of the controls by the environmental conditions by the European Union market. So that is why we try to align ourselves where we can be able to attend to potential areas only and not to enter into rainforest areas where we will be meeting the United Nations policy, and otherwise it's also beneficial to us in terms of environmental management in our country.
Provincial Member for Morobe, Lutawenge, thanked the government for appointing Morobe as the model province to drive the extension of the oil palm industry in the country.
And it's time for action. Time for action. And I want you to put the naturally fast. All right, when you get there, put the naturally fast so that the people see oil palm is growing. And when people challenge me, I will point to the ledger. So General Secretary, I wanted you're the best guy in the business, so you make sure the oil palm is being planted.
Such agreements often lead to improvements in infrastructure, including roads, transportation, and facilities needed for processing and exporting palm oil. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Minister for Oil Palm Francis Maneke expressed optimism that with the right support and resources, Morobe Province could become a leading player in the oil palm sector. By investing in this agricultural venture, the government aims to ensure sustainable practices and promote environmental stewardship alongside economic benefits. Maneke urged community members to engage actively in the process, emphasizing the need for inclusive development that respects traditional land rights and promotes local participation in the industry.
To really make sure that we growers or landowners or local people must be partners. We must be involved. We must participate in the business, in any business in the oil palm industry, from the farm to the mill and to the market. So those are the kind of benefits that we really want to maximize in terms of participating in the oil palm industry. So after all, we know very well the government is pushing to make sure we support provincial governments, we support mobilized growers or landowners so that they can be able to see oil palm as their own local business.
Meantime, provincial member for Morobe Lutawenge calls on the Oil Palm Industry Corporation to immediately move into the province and start the process as soon as possible and not to delay the process. The Morobe Provincial Administration also committed 1 million kina to start the project.
And we will purchase those motorbikes and vehicles, and we're going to, I will direct the administrator to now get the money and execute the agreement. We're going to move that. I like the idea that there's not any agreement, we've not signed, but surely we're going to sign up. I like that committee to be established very fast. You can get your man on your side, we'll get our representative on our side with speed. We get a committee on, they will talk, and I see in the agreement that we have to come up with a company, so we move forward. This committee will help us to set the company.
The countdown to Papua New Guinea's 50th independence continues, this time with color, culture and pride from the southern region. Hundreds gathered at the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium yesterday, July 5th, to mark the start of the PNG Story Month. With a beat of kundu drum and the rhythm of tradition, the Southern region launched PNG Story Month in style. It was more than a celebration. It was a reflection of identity. Traditional dances, string bands, food stalls and powerful youth performances brought stories of heritage to life. The crowd was treated to electric performances from homegrown talents from Betty Toya, Junior Vigi and more. The event is part of a 3-month celebration leading into Independence Day, showcasing regional stories of unity, peace and progress. With strong security presence, families turned out in numbers to take part in the milestone moment. Next up, the New Guinea Islands Day on July 12th, as PNG's 50-year story continues to unfold one region at a time. TVWAN News continues when we come back. Stay with us.
Hiya, Mama.
You wait then, let me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magic kakaru, get up a big smile on face. Time cook him chicken, a great fumu too. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Maggi, the taste PNG loves.
Tell him shorty come get it in. Come grind on me, but mommy get loose, get loose, get loose. Pepsi in my hand, ice cold, no excuse. I tell him who's gonna bring the roof down. Pepsi with the fresh sound. Tell him who's gonna bring the roof down. Pepsi with that fresh sound. Pepsi, give me some Pepsi bottle. Pepsi, you like it? Pepsi, you like it? Pepsi bottle.
A quick favorite meal for the day does feel good. Snacks noodles is my choice for a simple meal. It is easy to prepare and fast to cook. And with a touch of flavor and ingredients, quality noodles that can be cooked and enjoyed in many different ways. You see, my whole family loves it. It's made here in PNG and comes in different pack sizes. Snacks noodles, tastier but you like it more.
Thanks for staying with us. Papua New Guinea citizens who were in Israel, including diplomatic personnel and pilgrims, amidst the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran, have returned home safely. Papua New Guinea's ambassador to Israel, Henry Mokono, along with his family and embassy staff, arrived safely in Port Moresby on the 29th and 30th of June, respectively. Secretary for the Department of Foreign Affairs, Elias Wahengu, expressed his gratitude to the people of Papua New Guinea for their prayers and support. In reaffirming Papua New Guinea's position, Secretary Wahengu stated, "As a Christian nation, we stand firmly for peace, for dialogue, and for the protection of human life. We pray for stability in the region and remain hopeful that a peace resolution will be found through diplomatic means." Turning abroad, Western Australia's road toll has reached its highest year-to-date figure in a decade, with 5 people killed in 24 hours this week. As the school holidays begin, authorities are urging all road users to take care, with police unapologetic about enforcing the law.
A confronting scene. This 40-year-old driver killed when his car collided with a truck towing 3 trailers. His death, one of 5 on WA's roads over 24 hours.
There's 5 people that won't be at Christmas this year. and 5 doors that had to be knocked on by our officers in the WA Police Force to make those absolutely tragic notifications.
On Thursday afternoon, a 70-year-old man died in the southwest when his motorcycle collided with a tow truck. The next morning, it was the 40-year-old man in Perth's outer north. Half an hour later, a 51-year-old pedestrian was hit and killed by a car in Mundaring. 4 hours later, a man died when his four-wheel drive struck a tree in Serpentine. Another 4 hours later, and it was a 64-year-old woman, a passenger in a single vehicle crash in Alfred Cove.
We're halfway through the year. We're over 100 deaths, and that's the highest in almost a decade.
The number of road safety deaths so far this year is the highest in at least a decade, sitting at 103 compared to 93 this time last year. When taking into account population growth, the Road Safety Commissioner says over the past 10 or so years, the annual road toll in every jurisdiction in Australia has remained relatively steady.
The road toll's plateaued. It's flattened. All right, we're keeping a lid on things, but we're not shifting it down. And there aren't big levers left.
Authorities hopeful new cameras capturing a range of illegal activity will help turn the tide when fines, rather than warnings, are issued later this year.
When we move into enforcement mode with these new cameras in a couple of months, we're expecting a big shift in behaviour. We don't want the money. We want people to change their behaviour and save lives.
A wake-up call for anyone getting behind the wheel.
A tale of extreme endurance that was almost forgotten. In 1882, a 21-year-old drover and a team of men left Victoria to stephen 11,000 sheep to the Northern Territory. It would be remembered as the longest sheep drive in Australian history.
The historic Karrakatta Cemetery in Perth is the final resting place of Wallace Ogilvie Caldwell and his wife Sarah.
They've laid here for the best part of a century in an unmarked grave, and we're here to pay respect to them and the achievements of Wallace in his amazing story as a pioneer in the Australian outback.
But this story really begins on the other side of the continent, on a property called Rich Avon, on the Richardson River near Donald in Victoria's Wimmera region. The starting point of the longest sheep drive in Australian history. In charge for most of it was a then 21-year-old drover, Wallace Caldwell.
So Tom, this is the spot.
Yeah, Tim, this is where the sheep started way back in 1882, and we've got a plaque to commemorate that event. And this was the starting point of that epic journey, which covered 3,500 kilometres.
Their destination, the Northern Territory, then on the unmapped frontier of European settlement. Tom's great-grandfather and namesake, Thomas Guthrie, a wool trader and prominent pastoralist, bought this property in 1864. In the years following, he amassed a massive pastoral holding and wanted to expand it further.
He got a tip-off for this land that was being opened up on the Barkly Tableland, and he went to Adelaide to the auction, put his hand up and ended up with 1.4 million acres, sight unseen.
Back then, the only way to get livestock there was on foot. As they journeyed north, they encountered ever-worsening drought.
Caldwell's account is simply harrowing. He wrote, "We were only doing from 2 to 3 miles a day. You could only let them crawl. We would carry sheep from the tail to the head, drop them, and by the time the tail got up, you would have to start over again, carrying. The camp's yards were made of dead sheep, as every drover camping in them would be sure to leave some behind. The next drover who came along would pile them up, and so it would go on from day to day."
Caldwell's valiant efforts to save as many sheep as he could was probably because his pay depended on how many sheep made it to the Northern Territory. At Wilcannia, on the Darling River, the emaciated sheep could go no further. Caldwell made a heartbreaking decision.
He slept on it for a while, woke up in the middle of the night and said, "This is hopeless, we can't go on," and as he says, let the sheep go.
When they mustered them a month later, they gathered less than half the original flock. They pushed on, Caldwell scouting well ahead, carefully surveying the country for pasture and water. Then their fortunes changed completely.
And when they crossed the Queensland border, the whole conditions changed. There was grass everywhere, and as he says later, once he hit Queensland, he never lost another sheep.
Artists as young as 5-year-old were celebrated today at the Art Gallery of New South Wales for this year's Young Archery competition. Inspired by the prestigious Archibald Prize, the competition is giving budding artists the chance to have their work on display for the very first time.
Parents, siblings and teachers. These are the important life figures featured in the art of young Australians.
This is my great-grandma. She migrated from Lithuania for World War II to Australia, and she's been around for a while, and I really wanted to capture that.
More than 3,000 artists entered the Young Archery competition this year. Now 70 finalists have their work hung up at one of the country's biggest galleries.
I think it's really special, and we get the most fabulous stories behind the artworks of what that person means to the artist as well.
Today, 4 winners stepped on stage, taking home a hamper of new art supplies and $200.
It was a big shock. Very overwhelmed. I gasped and I looked around and I made sure that it was real before I started walking.
My dad was crying. He never cries.
The youngest recipient, only 5 years old.
These 70 portraits by young archery finalists are on display here at the Art Gallery of New South Wales until the 17th of August, just upstairs from this year's Archibald Prize exhibit.
I just really hope it encourages other young people to get creative and to express themselves through their art.
It's sort of been my only dream for my entire life to just be an artist.
A dream come true for some of Australia's youngest talent.
You are watching TV1 News. Sports is next. Stay tuned.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG e Mia. Prime PNG made.
A moment of love, a dream, a laugh, a kiss, a cry, a rock, a roll, just stay there.
Our journey starts with you. We'll be there from the start, right through to your life's adventures. We'll ensure comfort and make your safety our priority. We'll take you to memorable moments, no matter where it begins. And we'll get you there like we've always done. The 4th generation coaster bus, more than just a bus.
Mr. Russell, we must isim signa sabung here.
You survey yourself, you can put in one per complaint.
I'm not giving big the head. Online by doctor. Now, also when I'm supposed me on that sorry kisimel.
You think him go through of Sam, you like putting this plus sexual harassment report on Mr. Russell.
Who said you making this black complaint?
Johnny BCFW now member blong me plan na sanap strong against him workplace harassment.
Welcome back. After sitting out on bye last weekend, the Digicel ExxonMobil Cup matches resumed yesterday, with some exciting rugby league actions. There were some stunning performances. West New Britain Kimber Cutters surprised PRK Gulf ISO at home ground, and Egma Gurias knocked down Lace Next Tigers in Rabaul.
The PRK Mandy Muruks continued its fine form, beating the inconsistent NPL Engamioks 26 points to 22 at the Sir John Amban Oval in Minj, Juaka. The Muruks ran in 6 tries in a fancy attacking display, but struggled with goal kicking. Kumul Kaupa converted only 1 goal from 6 attempts. The Mioks scored 4 tries of their own, but it was not enough to topple the competition leaders. The later match at the same venue between Wampninga Mount Hagen Eagles and Croton Heller Wigman provided another thriller. Both teams went toe-to-toe with Eagles coming out on top 30 points to 14 with an upset victory. And double-header in Port Moresby brought some surprises. The NCDC Moni Plus Port Moresby Vipers ran riot over struggling Yes Resources Central Dabaris 26 points to 4. The Vipers walked home with 2 competition points, but it spells a lot for the Dabaris as they return to drawing board. In the later match, the West New Britain Kimber Cutters outmuscled PRK Gulf ISO 30 points to 18 in a well-deserved win. The ISO is the most improved team in the last 2 months, but couldn't go past the Cutters, who wanted more in that game. In Rabaul's Queen Elizabeth Park, the home side Egma Gurias welcomed visiting Lace Next Tigers in a hostile reception. Gurias crossed over for 6 tries, and Derek Voku starred in that game with 2 tries effort. Tigers, on the other hand, bagged only 2 tries and were outplayed by the host team. The Digicel ExxonMobil Cup matches continues next weekend with its round 13 matches.
Tioli has successfully defended its national darts title at the recently concluded Champion of Champions darts tournament in Port Moresby. The Tioli held off Polaroid's Arrows in the grand final 6 sets to 3. The K180 Falcons defeated Calamix from Buka in the 3rd place in playoffs. 2 Port Moresby Darts Association clubs, Tioli and Poralach Arrows, finished the Champion of Champions tournament as grand finalists, and Tioli retained the championship title. Coming into the tournament as the title holders, Tioli had nothing but guts to fight hard and defend the title they won in Ley in 2023. Tioli played with a lot of focus, and it was shown in their game. They won 3-0 to start the grand final and finished off on the high note. The Poralach Arrows, led by PNG representative player Arua Leke, gave their best shot after falling short in the last COC. The Poro Arrows couldn't finish the game at the top, and Tioli prevailed in the end with their good throws. 16 teams registered for the event, including teams coming into Port Moresby from East and West New Britain and Oro provinces, and from the autonomous region of Bougainville. Tioli successfully weaved its way onto title defense. Calamix from Hago Darts Association, Buka, is the only team from outside provinces to make the finals. The other 6 teams that flew in didn't reach the finals. NCD Darts Association played host to the 5th edition of COC ahead of the tournament kick-off last week,
the NCD Darts Association expressed gratitude to host the tournament. The COC tournament ran for 6 days. It started on Monday and ended yesterday with grand final and trophy presentations.
That's it for sports. Now the weather forecast.
This is a renewal of heavy rain and potential flood warning issued by Papua New Guinea National Weather Service for Bougainville, New Ireland, East and West New Britain, Morobe, East and West Sepik, Oro, Milne Bay and Western provinces. Potential heavy rains are expected over the mentioned warning areas within the next 12 to 24 hours, which can cause flash and riverine flooding. Landslides are expected over the prone areas. All residents of the mentioned communities are advised to take necessary precautions during the warning period.
And that ends our news tonight. Have a top week ahead. Good night.
The TVWAN News was proudly brought to you by